Any ads heard during this episode that are not in our voice are placed by third-party agencies. They should not be considered the opinion of or to be endorsed by Hoosier Myths and Legends.
Welcome to another episode of the Hoosier Myths and Legends podcast.
I'm Rebecca Wilhelm.
I'm Mary Quigley.
And I'm Hope Wilhelm.
Join us as we dive into the spookier side of the Hoosier state.
So what comes to your mind when you think of Indiana? Do you think of corn? Do you think of basketball? Do you think of the Indianapolis 500? Maybe you think of famous celebrities who were born in Indiana, like John Mellencamp or Michael Jackson.
But as the saying goes, there is more than corn in Indiana. 92 counties make up the Hoosier state. In this podcast, we are going to discuss some Indiana folklore from each of these counties. If you are into tall tales, ghosts, or spooky legends, then this is a podcast you are not going to want to miss. For today's episode, we are traveling to Lawrence County in southern Indiana.
Beneath the quiet hills of southern Indiana lies a shadowy passageway that's steeped in whispers and dread. Of course, we're talking about the Tunnelton Train Tunnel. Built in the mid-1800s and carved deep into limestone, this dark corridor has long been a magnet for ghost stories, tragic legends, and spine-chilling encounters. Locals speak of lantern lights flickering where no man walks, disembodied voices echoing throughout the stone, and the ghost of a headless watchman forever searching for what he lost. Grab a cup of coffee, turn down the lights, and get comfortable, because tonight we're stepping into the dark to uncover the haunting truth behind one of Indiana's most mysterious and terrifying places.
I have to say, this is a legend I've heard about for years.
Me too. And I actually learned about this one from a classmate at Vincennes University who is from Lawrence County.
This story is also one of the legends that Ronald Baker covered in his book, Hoosier Folk Legends. It has always fascinated me.
And listeners, you guys know that I love that book. It's one of my favorites. So let's go ahead and get into it.
Let's start with some history.
So it all began in 1857 when the Ohio and Mississippi Railroad carved a tunnel that is almost 1,800 feet through a limestone hill in Lawrence County.
This tunnel was one of the longest tunnels in Indiana at the time it was built. The area ended up being named after this tunnel and is still known as Tunnelton today.
Laborers, who were mostly made up of Irish immigrants, worked long and grueling hours with dangerous tools. And, as you can imagine, many of these workers were injured and some were killed during the construction of the tunnel.
During construction of the tunnel is where the legends began. Stories started circulating around that workers who died during the construction of the tunnel were buried in the tunnel walls.
Whether that's true or not, the deaths were real, and some believe that the souls of those laborers, they never left.
The deaths that occurred during construction and the dangerous nature of the tunnel itself makes this location creepy.
When they built this tunnel, they blasted through solid rock. This meant that falling rocks were something that was a consistent danger.
The railroad had to actually hire someone to walk through the tunnel every time a train went through to collect the rocks and make sure the railway was safe.
So you guys can imagine that this, of course, helped set up this legend that it was a dangerous tunnel.
Possibly one of the best-known legends about Tunnelton Tunnel is the death of Henry Dixon, a night watchman whose life met a mysterious and violent end in 1908. Dixon was found dead approximately 200 feet from the tunnel's entrance, his head bearing a fatal wound. His lantern, still burning, lay beside him.
Now, apparently, no one was ever brought to justice for Henry Dixon's murder, and the theory is that it was a robbery. There is another theory out there that Dixon had stopped an assault against two women, and for that, he was murdered. Many believe that the killers had intended to drag Dixon into the tunnel so that a train would hit the body.
Yes, and that would have erased any evidence of foul play.
And that's exactly what people think may have happened.
Over the years, many people have reported seeing Dixon's spirit. He is said to still haunt the tunnel.
His lantern light flickering in the darkness.
Even before the murder of Henry Dixon, the tunnel was the site of a disaster, the 1907 train wreck.
Yes, so here's what happened. A coal car derailed right inside the tunnel, and it caused a massive pileup.
Listeners, we're talking 5 rail cars, mail, passenger, even sleeping cars, just crashing and stacking inside that pitch-black tunnel.
And it's important to note here that no one died in this accident.
Which almost feels like a miracle considering how bad it was, but the part that really sticks with me is how the passengers barely made it out.
Yes, so they're choking on this thick, stale air. They're totally disoriented in the dark. And some of the reports say that the people involved called it being buried alive. And because of the tunnel curves, the rescuers couldn't see lights from the other end. So you just have smoke, chaos, and a whole lot of fear.
I mean, if that doesn't leave a spiritual imprint, I don't know what does. It's no wonder people say the place still holds onto that trauma.
So we're going to take a quick break. So go ahead, refill your coffee, check your locks. And when we return, we're going to talk about something that happened to a man named Julius Follin. And that story, it's rough.
We'll be back with more haunted history from the Tunnelton Tunnel. Are you an Indiana small business owner looking to reach a wider audience?
Consider partnering with the Hoosier Myths and Legends podcast directly to advertise your business.
Our listeners are passionate, engaged, and love supporting local businesses just like yours. By advertising with us, you'll connect directly with a community that values what Indiana has to offer.
Promote your business with the Hoosier Myths and Legends podcast and watch your customer base grow. Ready to make your mark? Contact us today at HoosierMythsandLegends@gmail.com and let's bring your business to the forefront.
So before the break, we hinted at another real-life tragedy tied to this tunnel, and one involves a man named Julius Follin.
According to the Paraholics website, Julius was a gentleman who fell asleep on the railroad tracks near the east side of the tunnel in 1933. He was struck by an oncoming train.
So what I find incredible is, number one, he fell asleep on train tracks. And number two, he survived a head wound and a crushed arm. And he was actually able to walk out of the tunnel to get help.
However, Julius ended up passing away from the injuries he sustained later.
And that's just wild to me.
It's one of those stories that doesn't need any ghosts to be terrifying, just the danger of that space alone. It's like the tunnel takes what it wants.
And there's people who say that he's still there. Some even claim they've heard faint groaning near the tunnel entrance late at night, almost like somebody calling for help.
Whether it's Julius or just the wind playing tricks, well, that's up to you to decide.
And Tunnelton's dark history doesn't end there.
On February 10th, 1882, an ambush occurred near there. This event is what locals call the Tunnelton Massacre.
So 3 men were allegedly plotting a robbery. Before they could act, vigilantes ambushed and killed them. So we're talking no trial, nothing, just execution. And even though it did not happen at the tunnel, it occurred close enough that many people believe that this event left its mark and that the energy can be felt there.
There are also the rumors of moonshiners. In the 1930s, moonshiners allegedly used the tunnel to move illegal alcohol. One drifter was supposedly murdered for getting too close.
And people say his ghost sits near the eastern entrance, slumped or sometimes cross-legged, and watching silently.
We will be back after a short break with a few of the ghost stories and some theories as to why the area may be so haunted or, as some believe, cursed. Hey listeners, in case you didn't know, we wrote a book. Haunted Dearborn County, Indiana is now available at all major retailers. Strange and unusual things lurk behind the calm facade of Dearborn County.
Several legends surround the Hill Forest Mansion, the home of one of Aurora's founding families.
Many have seen the ghost of a farmer and his mule at Carnegie Hall in Morse Hill.
The glowing grave at Riverview Cemetery may connect to the 1941 Agru family massacre.
St. Mary's Church Rectory is said to be haunted by the former priest, and the spirits at Whiskey's in Lawrenceburg are not just in the drinks.
Several schools in the area echo with the sounds of former students and staff, and numerous local residences house the spirits of former owners who have never left.
Join Rebecca and I on a chilling tour from Lawrenceburg to Lawrenceville and beyond. Check out HoosierMythsAndLegends.com for more details.
We're back.
So apparently there was also a death of a World War I guard in 1917.
Yes. So in 1917, a National Guard named Edward Call was shot accidentally in what they called a quote-unquote friendly scuffle with a fellow National Guardsman.
There's another theory about why Tunnelton is so haunted. Before construction began, it's believed that the hill the tunnel runs through was once a burial ground.
And others think it was a pauper cemetery or even a criminal burial site.
When the railroad dug through, they supposedly uncovered bones and just kept going. Those graves may have been disturbed, and if you believe in hauntings, that could explain a lot.
People have reported ghostly soldiers in the tunnel, phantom footsteps, and a sudden drop in temperature when standing near entrances.
Paranormal groups have visited the tunnel for years. Many have captured strange EVPs, unexplained mists, and shadowy figures.
And one investigator claimed a voice whispered Dixon into their recorder, and another said their camera would not work until they left the area.
Some visitors even reported recurring dreams after visiting the site, always featuring the tunnel, a light in the distance, and someone calling their name.
So is the Tunnelton Tunnel haunted? It might be, depending on who you ask. But there's no doubt that this place holds a heavy history.
We do want to issue a warning. This is still an active railroad line. Trains run through it regularly, and it's private property.
Never enter the tunnel. It's incredibly dangerous, and trespassing can lead to arrest or worse. So just explore it from a distance and stay safe.
Maybe the ghosts of the Tunnelton Tunnel are just stories, or maybe they are still waiting for someone to finally hear them. Have you ever had an experience at the Tunnelton Tunnel? Are you familiar with the ghost lore associated with this place? We would love to hear about it. Please send us an email to HoosierMythsAndLegends@gmail.com or reach out to us on social media. We may use it in a later episode. In the email, let us know if you wish to remain anonymous.
To see our source material, please visit our website, HoosierMythsAndLegends.com. Hoosier Myths and Legends is a Quigley Productions podcast.
Our theme song was written and recorded by Wet Blanket. The song title is Taxidermy Race Car.
As always, stay spooky.